A single-dad CEO ordered food late at night, not knowing the delivery girl was his high school sweetheart. The rain had been falling for hours, soft at first, then relentless, the kind that blurs headlights and makes the world shimmer like a broken mirror. Somewhere in the middle of that storm, Emma Rivera pulled her jacket tighter and balanced a food delivery bag against her chest. Steam rose through the damp air, and her breath came out in pale clouds. It was her third delivery past midnight, another long night for a single mother trying to make rent. The glowing app on her cracked phone buzzed. Order E782 Hawthorne Residences. Estimated tip, $2. She sighed, brushing wet hair off her face. $2, she muttered to herself. Let's hope it's not another gated nightmare. Her 7-year-old son, Liam, would be asleep by now, curled up at her sister's apartment, clutching his stuffed bear. Emma pictured his small hand wrapped around it and forced a smile through her fatigue. She couldn't afford to rest. Not yet. The Hawthorne Residences stood like a ghost against the rain. Tall, modern, too perfect. She parked her old scooter at the entrance and looked up at the giant glass facade. Through the window of penthouse 19B, a light flickered on. She took a deep breath, rode the elevator up, and found herself staring at a massive mahogany door. Her reflection in its polished surface looked small, drenched, and utterly out of place. She pressed the doorbell once, twice. The door opened halfway. Standing there was a man in a gray hoodie, his hair messy, eyes tired, but sharp. His stubble framed a jawline that looked both familiar and distant, like a photograph buried in memory. "Food delivery," she said softly, holding out the bag. He blinked, studying her face, and for a moment, his expression shifted. Something flickered behind his eyes. Surprise, confusion, then something deeper. "Emma?" he said, barely above a whisper. Her breath caught. I'm sorry, do I know you?" He stepped closer, and under the soft hallway light, the years seemed to fall away. "It's me, Ryan Hale." The name hit her like a forgotten melody. Her high school sweetheart. The boy who used to sneak her flowers through classroom windows. The one who swore they'd chase their dreams together. Until he vanished after graduation, gone without goodbye. She froze, her heart racing. "Ryan, you look older, worn out?" "Yeah," he smiled faintly. "Life happened." "You could say that," she whispered. Silence stretched between them, the kind filled with 1,000 unspoken words. The hallway light flickered. Thunder rolled outside. "You're delivering food now?" he asked gently. "Just part-time," she replied quickly, clutching the bag. "Bills, rent, school fees, the usual." He nodded, eyes softening. "I get it." "Here's your order," she said, forcing professionalism back into her tone. "Have a good night, Mr. Hale." But as she turned, his voice broke the silence again. "Wait," she paused. "It's late. You're soaked. At least come in for a minute, just to warm up." Her instincts said no, but something in his voice, tired, lonely, made her hesitate. "Just a minute," he added quietly. "Old time's sake." She stepped inside. The penthouse was huge, but not in the glamorous way she expected. Boxes lined one wall. Toys were scattered on a rug near the couch. A small TV played a cartoon silently in the corner, and on the couch a little boy slept, maybe 5 years old, his tiny hand clutching a plush dinosaur. "Your son?" she asked softly. Ryan nodded. "Ethan, he's everything." She smiled faintly. "He's adorable." He walked to the kitchen, pulling out 2 mugs. "Still take your coffee black with sugar?" She blinked. "You remember that?" He laughed softly. "I remember a lot of things I shouldn't have forgotten." For a moment, the air felt warm again, like years hadn't passed, like they were still 17, sitting under the oak tree after school, dreaming about everything they'd be. But life had rewritten their story. "You disappeared," she said quietly, her voice trembling. "No calls, no letters. I waited for months." Ryan's smile faded. "My dad got sick. Then the business collapsed. I took whatever work I could. I was too proud, too stupid to come back." Her eyes glistened. "You could have told me." "I know." His voice broke slightly, and I never stopped regretting it. They stood there, two people shaped by the same storm, staring at the wreckage of what might have been. "I should go," she said softly, setting down her cup. "Emma." He took a step closer. "Please don't, it's been 10 years. I don't want the night to end like this." Her phone buzzed, another order request. She hesitated, then looked at him. "Some nights have to end, Ryan," she said gently. "But maybe, not forever." And with that, she turned and walked toward the door. As the elevator doors closed, he stood there silently, her forgotten scarf still draped across his arm. Outside, the rain poured harder, but for the first time in years, both of them felt something flicker inside their chests. A memory. A warmth. Maybe. The beginning again. The days after that rainstorm passed like quiet echoes. But neither Emma Rivera nor Ryan Hale could shake that night from their minds. Every time Emma logged into her delivery app, part of her hoped and feared she might see that familiar address again. She told herself it didn't matter. He was her past, and she didn't have time to relive old dreams. Bills, shifts, and Liam's school lunches, those were her realities now. Still, some nights she caught herself remembering his laugh, the warmth in his eyes when he'd said her name, the way the world had felt lighter, if only for an hour. A week later, Emma's scooter sputtered and died at a red light. Rain, again, the universe's cruel sense of humor. She kicked the pedal, frustration breaking through her tired calm. "Come on, not tonight." She was late picking up Liam from her sister's. The clock on her phone blinked 8:42 p.m. A sleek black car slowed beside her. Its window rolled down, and a familiar voice called out through the rain. "Need a hand?" She turned. Her heart skipped. Ryan Hale, leaning slightly from the driver's seat, an umbrella in one hand, his boy strapped in a child seat behind him. "Oh no, you again," she said with a small laugh, half embarrassed, half relieved. "Looks like fate's doing overtime," he grinned, parking by the curb. "Come on, I'll give you a lift." "I can't just leave the scooter." "I'll have someone pick it up. You know I own a few tow trucks now?" She rolled her eyes, smiling despite herself. "Right, CEO Perks." He held out the umbrella. "Please, Emma, let me do at least one decent thing right this time." She hesitated, then climbed in. Inside the car, soft jazz played. Ethan slept peacefully in the back seat. The city lights streaked across the windows like falling stars. "So," she said, crossing her arms, "Mr. Fancy CEO, what happened to the boy who swore he'd never trade sunsets for skyscrapers?" Ryan chuckled quietly. "He grew up, learned that sometimes you chase dreams not for yourself, but for who you lost." "You mean your wife?" He nodded, gaze fixed on the road. "Leah, she passed away 3 years ago. Cancer." Her heart sank. "Ryan, I'm so sorry." "It's okay. I kept going for Ethan. Some days, I still don't know how." He paused. "What about you? Anyone special?" She laughed softly. "Only my little troublemaker. Liam's my world. His dad left before he was born. I guess we're both single parents trying to make it work." Their eyes met briefly, something unspoken passing between them. Two broken halves, each quietly surviving for someone else. "You always had this strength," he said softly. "You just kept going, even when things were unfair." "Someone had to," she whispered. "Life doesn't wait for pity." The car grew quiet again. Comfortable silence this time. When they reached her sister's apartment, Ryan turned to her. "Emma, would you maybe have dinner with us sometime? Me and Ethan, as friends." "Ryan," she began cautiously. "No pressure. Just dinner. You can even bring Liam. He exhaled. "It's been a long time since my house felt like a home." Something in his voice, the loneliness hiding behind composure, tugged at her heart. She smiled gently. "All right, but only because Ethan's adorable." "Deal," he said, smiling for real this time. Saturday evening arrived, crisp and golden. Emma had borrowed a clean dress from her sister, though she kept telling herself it wasn't a date. Liam held her hand, practically bouncing with excitement. When the elevator opened to Ryan's penthouse, laughter spilled out before she even knocked. Ethan ran to the door. "Mommy, this is the lady I told you about. She saved Daddy's food." Emma laughed. "Close enough." Ryan appeared wearing a navy sweater, looking more relaxed than before. "Come in. Smells better than last time, I promise." The dining table was set simply but warmly. Candles, soft lights, plates of homemade pasta. It felt less like a mansion and more like home. "You cooked this?" she asked, surprised. "Don't look so shocked," he teased. "Turns out CEOs can follow YouTube tutorials too." Dinner flowed with laughter and easy chatter. Ethan and Liam bonded instantly over toy cars. The two adults watched their sons giggle on the floor, something tender glimmering in their eyes. "It's strange," Emma said quietly, "seeing you like this, a dad cooking dinner, wiping spaghetti off your kid's face." Ryan smiled wistfully. "Guess we both learned what love looks like in real life." "And what's that?" "Messy, loud, worth every bit of pain." Their hands brushed as they both reached for the same glass. Neither pulled away for a second too long. Then Ethan yawned and curled up beside Liam, both boys falling asleep under a blanket. Ryan looked at them and whispered, "I used to think I'd never have another night that felt like family." Emma's heart swelled. "You do tonight." He turned to her slowly, eyes deep and searching. "Do I?" Before she could answer, her phone buzzed again, her delivery app flashing another order. Reality came crashing back. "I should go," she said softly. "Thank you for dinner, Ryan." "Really?" He stood there, struggling to find words. "Emma, if you ever need help, with anything, your job, Liam, your scooter, just call me." "You don't owe me anything," she smiled sadly. "You already disappeared once, remember? That one landed like a quiet wound." "You're right," he said quietly. "But this time, I'm not going anywhere." She looked back at him as the elevator doors closed, part of her wanting to believe him, part still guarding the scars he left years ago. Outside, the city glittered in the night, and for the first time in years, Emma's heart beat not just from survival, but from something dangerously close to hope. It had been 3 weeks since that dinner at Ryan's penthouse, 3 weeks of texts that started as polite check-ins. "Did Liam like the spaghetti? Your scooter fixed yet?" And slowly turned into nightly messages that carried laughter, old memories, and tiny glimpses of lives healing in parallel. But for all their growing closeness, Emma still kept her walls high. She'd been let down before, by life, by people, by promises that dissolved when the bills came due. And no matter how gentle Ryan's eyes were, she couldn't let herself dream too far again. One cold evening, after her late shift, Emma stood outside the grocery store staring at the notice of eviction slipped under her apartment door. She read it twice, hands trembling. Rent overdue. 3 days' notice. Her sister was already barely managing. She couldn't risk Liam being homeless. Not again. That night, she walked the city streets long after midnight, hoping a miracle would fall out of the sky. But sometimes, miracles arrive quietly. in the form of an unexpected phone call. "Emma? It's Ryan. Are you okay? You sound off." She forced a small laugh. "Just tired. The usual." "You can talk to me, you know." She hesitated. Her pride whispered no, but exhaustion finally silenced it. "I might lose my apartment. I've been behind on rent for months. Deliveries slowed down, and Liam's been sick." There was silence on the other end. Then his voice softened, low and steady. "Where are you right now?" "Downtown. Near 7th. Stay there, please." Before she could protest, the call ended. 20 minutes later, headlights cut through the fog. Ryan's car pulled up beside her. He stepped out, coat still half-buttoned, hair damp from the rain. Without a word, he took off his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "You shouldn't be walking alone out here." Her voice cracked. "You didn't have to come." "I did." His tone was firm but kind. "Because you've carried too much alone for too long." He gestured toward his car. "Come on, you and Liam can stay with me until things settle. No conditions, no pity. Just safety." "Ryan." "Please," he said, eyes pleading. "Let me do what I should have done years ago. Take care of you." She stood there, rain dripping down her cheeks like tears she refused to cry. Then, slowly, she nodded. The next morning, sunlight poured gently into the penthouse. Liam and Ethan sat on the floor building towers of colored blocks, laughing together. Ryan brewed coffee in the kitchen, glancing occasionally toward Emma, who sat on the couch wrapped in a blanket. "You didn't have to make breakfast, too," she said shyly. "You saved my food once," he smiled. "Seems fair." She laughed, the sound soft and real, but then her expression turned serious. "Ryan, I can't stay here forever. I'll figure something out soon." He nodded, stirring his coffee. "Actually, about that, there's something I wanted to show you." He handed her a small envelope. Inside was a folded document, a lease agreement for a small cafe space on Maple Street. "Ryan, what is this?" "It's for you," he said quietly. "You told me once, back in high school, you wanted to open a little bakery. Remember?" Her breath caught. "I can't accept this. I don't even have... You don't owe me anything. It's not charity, Emma. It's an investment. You have something I lost years ago. Heart. Let's rebuild this together." Tears welled in her eyes. "Why are you doing this for me?" He took a step closer. "Because I never stopped loving you." Silence. Only the hum of morning light between them. "I tried to forget," he said softly, "but every time I looked at Ethan, I thought of how much I wanted him to grow up knowing someone like you. Someone who never gives up, even when the world forgets her name." Her tears fell freely now, her hand trembling as he gently took it. "Ryan, you don't have to say anything," he whispered. "Just stay, for you, for them." Liam ran up then, tugging on her sleeve. "Mommy, can we live here forever? Mr. Ryan makes pancakes." Emma laughed through tears. "We'll see, sweetheart." Ryan smiled. "That's not a no." Weeks later, the smell of fresh bread and coffee filled the air. A small sign hung above the cafe's glass doors. Liam's Corner Bakery. Emma stood behind the counter, wiping her hands on her apron as customers filled the room. Ryan sat at a corner table, laptop open, occasionally stealing glances her way. Ethan and Liam were by the window, laughing over cookies. Everything, from the warm chatter to the golden morning sunlight, felt impossibly right. When the last customer left, Ryan walked up to the counter, a small velvet box in his hand. "What's this?" Emma asked, smiling curiously. "A thank you," he said softly, "for teaching me that love doesn't fade, it just waits." He opened it. Inside lay a delicate gold necklace with 2 intertwined rings. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "So are you," he said, his voice almost breaking. and I don't want to wait anymore." He reached across the counter, taking her hands in his. "Emma Rivera, will you and Liam be part of our family?" Her tears fell freely this time, not from pain, but from the kind of joy she'd forgotten how to feel. "Yes," she whispered. 1,000 times yes." Ryan smiled, pulling her into his arms as the cafe bell chimed softly behind them. Outside, the rain began to fall again, but this time, it felt like blessing instead of burden. Two hearts, once broken, had finally found their way back, not to what they'd lost, but to everything they'd become. And sometimes, that's all love really is, a second chance delivered right to your door. Sometimes, life brings back the people we thought were gone forever, not to repeat the past, but to heal what time couldn't. Because love doesn't always arrive in flowers or grand gestures. Sometimes it comes with a food delivery bag on a rainy night. Thank you for watching Kin Hidden. If this touched your soul, don't forget to like, subscribe, and visit our heartwarming love stories playlist. Remember, every heart has a hidden story waiting to be found.